Chanakya, the great leader, politician, kingmaker, teacher, economist, writer, and royal advisor, there is no doubt that only Chanakya could play so many roles. In today's world, almost every person is fighting within to overcome his fear, stress, and failures, and motivational quotes are something that helps best to do so. Chanakya has not only given his views on success, but he mentioned quotes about almost every aspect of human feelings and emotions such as love, betrayal, relationships, friendships, respect, etc. The followings are the best Chanakya quotes. These pearls of wisdom by Chanakya will leave an eternal effect on you. So have a look at them. No one can defeat a powerful mind. In this Chanakya quote, he means when a person has a strong mind, there is nothing that can defeat him. The biggest guru mantra is, never share your secrets with anybody. It will destroy you. This Chanakya quote says that one should always keep his secrets to himself, as telling them to other people can let them use your weakness. A person should not be too honest. Straight trees are cut first and honest people are screwed first. This Chanakya quote perfectly fits today's world. This is so true that a kind and the honest person always has to face problems. The fragrance of flowers spread only in the direction of the wind, but the goodness of the person spreads in all directions. This Chanakya quote means that a good person is recognized and appreciated everywhere for his good causes. Before you start some work, always ask yourselves 3 questions: why I am doing it, what the results might be, and will I be successful? Only when you think deeply and find satisfactory answers to these questions, go ahead. To make any task successful, a good analysis is very important to conduct. Thinking about these aspects before starting any work will help you. A man is great by deeds, not by birth. This Chanakya quote truly says that a man is not just known by his birth, but he would be known for his works and deeds. Humbleness is at the root of self-control. This Chanakya quote says that a person must be humble, as his humbleness would weaken his enemies, and at the same time, it can create self-confidence and control. As soon as the fear approaches near, attack and destroy it. This Chanakya quote means that the cause behind every failure is fear, so one should destroy his fear to get success. Is not present in idols. Your feelings are the soul is your temple. This is so true that only lies within, not in an idol or sculpture, and your soul is like your temple that you can fill with kindness, humbleness, and peace. Never make friends with people who are above or below you in status. Such friendships will never give you any happiness. A person should always choose a friend of the same level. If your friendship is with the people who are above and below in status, there is a high chance of conflicts. Treat your kid like a darling for the first 5 years. For the next 5 years, scold them. By the time they turn 16, treat them like a friend. Your grown-up children are your best friends. This is the best parenting technique suggested by this Chanakya quote. Every parent needs to treat her childlike friend, but at the same time, they need to show them the correct path whenever they go wrong. Drop the idea that attachment and love are one thing. They are enemies. It is the attachment that destroys all love. So true. Love is a feeling like worship, where a person's physical appearance is not required, but his presence is. On the other hand, attachment is something that makes a person feel to always be around that person to whom he is attached. We should not fret for what is past, nor should we be anxious about the future. Men of discernment deal only with the present moment. Correctly said, every person should deal and live with the present only, as concern about past or future could ruin the beauty of the present. Never reveal what you have thought upon doing, but by wise counsel keep it secret, being determined to carry it into execution. In simple words, this Chanakya quote means that we should keep our thoughts folded in front of others until we execute them successfully. The world's biggest power is the youth and beauty of a woman. Well said by Chanakya. A beautiful and young woman can do anything in this world with the power of her beauty, because she can make everyone bend down in front of her. Avoid him who talks sweetly before you but tries to ruin you behind your back, for he is like a pitcher full of poison with milk on top. This Chanakya quote means that nothing is more harmful than a person who makes it sweet on your face but always makes things adverse behind you. Till the enemy's weakness is known, he should be kept on friendly terms. The biggest success mantra by Chanakya has unfolded here. We should treat our enemy as a friend until we came to know about his weakness so that we could attack him when needed. Even if a gem be placed on the foot and a mirror on the head, still, the gem will not lose its value. Well defined, the value of everything should not be estimated by its position, as the value cannot be increased or decreased by just seeing the position of something. Never settle for anything less than what you deserve. It is not pride, it is self-respect. This Chanakya quote states that one should know his worth and never compromise with anything less. You can win over a greedy person by offering money, a proud person by covering before him. You can win a fool by agreeing with him, and you can win a scholar by truth only. Simply, there is a way to win over every kind of person. We must be aware of what to offer to whom. A person who cannot decide his goal simply cannot win. The clarity of your goal is very important to achieve it. Books are as useful to a stupid person as a mirror is useful to a blind person. This Chanakya quote says that there is no use of books to a stupid person because he does not know their value. For the moon, though one, dispels the darkness, which the stars, though numerous, cannot. True words. A smart person is always better than 100 stupid persons. A person who is aware of future troubles and fights against them with his intelligence will always be happy, and a person who remains inactive waiting for good days to come will destroy his own life. There is no way for those people who just wait for good times instead of making efforts to get it. The enemy's enemy is a friend. This Chanakya quote means that to win against your competitor, always make an alliance with a competitor of your competitor to gain extra strength to fight against him. Give your wealth only to the worthy and never to others. The water of the sea received by the clouds is always sweet. This Chanakya quote says that one should always try to give his part of wealth to only the needy because by only this we can balance out the things in our society. Don't judge the future of a person based on his present conditions because time has the power to change black coal to shiny diamond. Time can make anyone strong or weak. We never know who can be stronger in the future, so we should behave accordingly. Time perfects men as well as destroys them. This Chanakya quote means the time has the power to make and spoil things. So it is the fact that time can make a person better or worse. Test a servant while in the discharge of his duty, a relative in difficulty, a friend in adversity, and a wife in misfortune. We should test our people in the appropriate situations so that we can get to know them better. The poor wish for wealth, animals for the faculty of speech, men for heaven, and godly person for liberation. This Chanakya quote states the fact that every person desires for what they don't have. There is no one satisfied. The wise man should restrain his senses like the crane and accomplish his purpose with due knowledge of his place, time, and ability. Sometimes thinking becomes overthinking, and we might get distracted from our goals. So we should utilize our knowledge to accomplish our goal. It is better to die than to preserve this life by incurring disgrace. The loss of life causes but a moment's grief, but disgrace brings grief every day of one's life. This Chanakya quote states that the moment of disgrace is the worst phase of a person's life. A disgraceful life is as worst as to live every day, experiencing death. The serpent, the king, the tiger, the stinging wasp, the small child, the dog owned by other people, and the fool, these seven ought not to be awakened from sleep. We should always try to be far away from the things that are dangerous for us. One should keep away certain situations by which they can be weakened. If one has a good disposition, what other virtue is needed? If a man has fame, what is the value of other ornamentation? This Chanakya quote states that if a person has good qualities by which he can get the best of the world, then his physical appearance does not matter. Once you start working on something, don't be afraid of failure and don't abandon it. People who work sincerely are the happiest. If you have started work, then you must be confident enough about its success rather than in doubt about the outcomes. Doesn't dwell in the wooden, stone, or earthen idols. His abode is in our feelings, our thoughts. Perfectly said by Chanakya, our is in us, in our soul, in our thoughts. Instead of searching for it in any idol, try to find it out inside. He who is overly attached to his family members experiences fear and sorrow, for the root of all grief is attachment. Thus, one should discard attachment to be happy. According to this Chanakya quote, attachment is the main cause of destruction, as it makes a person weak. We return evil for evil, in which there is no sin, for it is necessary to pay a wicked man in his coin. It is very important to give people the taste of their own medicine, as they might take the disadvantage of our casual nature. One whose knowledge is confined to books and whose wealth is in the possession of others can use neither knowledge nor wealth when the need for them arises. This Chanakya quote says that every person needs to be sufficient in terms of knowledge and skills and should achieve success on his own. The king shall lose no time when the opportunity waited for arrives. A person who is playing the role of a king must have the ability to seize opportunities. There is no austerity equal to a balanced mind, and there is no happiness equal to contentment. There is no disease like covetousness, and no virtue like mercy. We must agree upon it, because there is nothing more important than a balanced mind and satisfaction. Our kindness reflects our goodness, and greed can only make our thoughts sick. Even if a snake is not poisonous, it should pretend to be venomous. This Chanakya quote truly states that a snake, even if it is not harmful, still needs to be pretended to do so. Swans live wherever there is water, and leave the place where water dries up. Let not a man act so, and comes and goes as he pleases. This Chanakya quote says that it is the basic nature of a human to move from one place to another according to his comfort and peace. But a person needs to be firm at his place whatever the situation is. One destitute of wealth is not destitute. He is indeed rich, but the man devoid of learning is destitute in every way. This is often said that if one has wealth, then he has all. But it is not true at all, because one who is learning has all. We have to make people soft who are hard, to attract those who are far. If they do badly for us, then even considering our aim, we should always love them. This Chanakya quote states that it should be basic human responsibility to treat other humans well, whether they are on good terms with us or not. Education is the best friend. An educated person is respected everywhere. Education beats the beauty and the youth. By this statement, Chanakya has explained the importance of the knowledge that a person who is educated has all respect and praises on his way instead of young and beautiful ones. Wealth, a friend, a wife, and a kingdom may be regained, but this body, when lost, may never be acquired again. This Chanakya quote is just to remind you the importance of your health and body, as the healthiest person is the happiest person. All the creatures are pleased by loving words, and therefore we should address words that are pleasing to all. For there is no lack of sweet words. There is nothing more pleasant than the sweet words. Your words have the power to turn down the people around you. There are 3 gems upon this earth: food, water, and pleasing words. Fools consider pieces of rocks as gems. This Chanakya quote says that to survive on this earth, the main elements are food, water, and polite words. So instead of searching for the rocks and gems, we need to consider them as precious gems. Learn from the mistakes of others. You can't afford to make them all on your own. It is always better to observe others' mistakes rather than make mistakes from your side. There are only 2 ways of dealing with evil persons or thorns: crush them under your boot or stay far away from them. Instead of being in the company of evil persons, one should cut himself from them as soon as possible. I consider Almighty above all, so only I always propagate his true message of Vedas. This Chanakya quote states that the Vedas has the solution to every problem, as it consists of S message for all human beings. It is the mind of man alone that is the cause of his bondage or freedom. This Chanakya quote says that every person has enough capabilities to deal with the pros and cons of his life. So it is our mind that is responsible for our situations. It is better to be without a king than a bad one. Instead of having a bad leader, we should go ahead without a leader. Sometimes you have to suffer in life. not because you were bad, but you didn't realize where to stop being good. A well-noted quote, "We should know where to behave. If we always try to be good, then it would make us fool in front of others." The biggest suspense of life is that you don't know who is praying for you and who is playing with you. This Chanakya quote says that good insight is very important to achieve success. You must be smart enough to identify the people around you. A moment of patience in a moment of anger can help us avoid 1,000 moments of sorrow. Anger is our biggest enemy. There is no doubt about that. In anger, if we take a slide of patience, then we will be able to deal more sensibly. One must be satisfied with whatever he has as a wife, wealth, and income. Still, one must never get satisfied with the knowledge and acts of charity. Knowledge is a never-ending treasure, and charity is the thing that stays with us during life and the afterlife. So one should never stop getting these desires of the mind. Who has got all the cushy things? Everything depends on destiny. Therefore, count your blessings. This Chanakya quote says that desires are meant to be fulfilled by only if you are blessed enough. Do not spend even a single day when you cannot find 5 things: successful businessmen, educated Brahmin, soldiers, a river, and a doctor. The last Chanakya quote states that at every good place, these 5 are required. So if they are not present somewhere, it means that place is not good enough to live in. The list of best Chanakya quotes has been completed, but instead of only hearing it, one needs to apply it in his life. These quotes are not just words, but they give a proper insight into things in life. To succeed in life, you can opt for them and can achieve your goals effectively. For now, have an eye on these motivational and inspiring quotes. We'll be back with another one.